Hey, what's up? Welcome to the show, Tips for Worship. Listen, we're coming with our last episode of our season, and I just want to thank everybody for joining. It's supposed to ride, man, but I've been loving it. And tonight, I got a special guest in the booth with me, in the studio with me, and it's a surprise. But before I bring her on, you know what I do on every show? I always tell you, listen, go on our YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Go to our YouTube channel, Tips for Worship, and help us get those subs up, man. At the beginning of the season, we always said, listen, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and we're at about 800 right now. So we just need 200 more subscribers to get to our goal by the end of the year. And make sure you one of them. If you rocking with us, if you've been rocking with us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So let me bring my guest, on right now, which is my wife. Some call her Mrs. P. I like to call her Honey, but I'll let her introduce herself. Go ahead, honey. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, as Minister AJ said, I'm his wife. And I guess we'll just go with Miss P for the interview, Patricia. Thank you for having me on the pod. However, I'm a guest, but I'm also a guest host. So we're flipping the script tonight.
Kind of flipping it up a little bit.
And I will be interviewing Minister AJ.
Wow.
I know. So in honor of the finale for Tips for Worship, you're going to be in the hot seat. You're going to be the one answering the interview questions, and we're going to get into a little bit of everything. How does that sound?
A little bit of everything. I like it. I like it. I think we should go ahead and get this thing rocking. Let's do it.
It's definitely a conversation you don't want to miss. And as Minister AJ said, you got 2 months before the end of the year to get us 200 more subscribers. And I know there's one of you watching out there that can come subscribe.
Right.
Come on over, hit that like and subscribe button.
And listen, we doing this for you. And listen, if you already subscribed, listen, I'm rocking with you, and I want to thank you. I know we definitely done help some people out, so tell your people about us over here at Tips for Worship.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's rewind back time a little bit. Can you tell us what called you to start Tips for Worship? Was it a personal calling? Was it creative spark? How did this begin?
Well, I think Tips for Worship began, I think it's just, by me going to a couple ministries growing up, playing keys, traveling with my dad, traveling with some of the preachers and ministers and praise and worship leaders that I play with now. And I started to notice in certain churches that, some of the sound equipment and the cameras and, just the drums and the keyboards, everything was pretty much outdated. And I started to notice when I talked to the pastors of the ministries, the praise and worship leader, they didn't have a sense that, the microphones and everything they had was outdated. So I was like, man, the information that I wanted to give people at the time, like right after church, right after concert, it was just, it was too much to talk about. So I said, why don't I just start a channel? And, people don't know that this Tips for Worship channel been around for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, most definitely.
So to sum that up, would you say this is a personal calling to help ministries?
I don't know if it's a personal calling, but it could be. God used people in different ways. And, just one morning I woke up and I was like, man, I got to do this. And it's funny because one of the first videos that I dropped, I was talking about a keyboard. I helped so many people. I got probably 172,000 views on YouTube on that.
Wow.
So after the first video, I say, man, this might be something that I need to stick with,
Okay.
Most definitely.
And you've definitely had some epic episodes throughout this season.
Yeah.
So can you think of a moment within an episode or an episode in its totality that stands out to you?
That's a good question right there. I think you're
Thank
doing
you.
I think you're doing a good job over there. But I would have to say, man, that's a good question because I had so many good guests on. I mean, people that's doing wonderful things right now. So to answer that question, I would probably just say, everybody that I had come on the Tips for Worship podcast doing this series was, it was a blessing, man. And I had David Grant. Some of you know D1. He is a wonderful producer, a great musician. I mean, I can go on for 20 minutes talking about the people he have played for, people who won Dove Awards and, nominated for Grammys and everything. For, somebody that big that's in the industry right now, to come on my podcast when it's first launching, I thought that was great. I had Darius Washington. He just dropped his album. Man, dude doing some great things right now. He came all the way down from Tampa to the studio right here and sat down with your boy A to the J. And man, that's tough. Tim Bush, he's doing things with Kurt Franklin right now, and he stopped by. I had Michael Johnson stopped by. He know a lot about the industry. He know a lot about worship, and I can go on. Isaac Lane, Pastor Isaac Lane from Delray, Jabrina Thompson, Andre, down from Margate, the SDA church. Just everybody took the time out to come to the channel and give us some tips, and I'm proud of that right there.
Okay, so
most definitely.
It sounds like every episode was your favorite episode.
Every episode was my favorite episode, even this one right now.
I know. This one might top all of them. We'll see.
Oh, man, that'd be great. If we can get some good tips out there, that'd be great.
Okay, so it definitely sounds like you have been on a journey in your life and with Tips for Worship. Mm-hmm. Can you think about a mistake that you have made either in leadership or within the musical realm? And what lessons did you learn from that mistake?
I would say some of the biggest mistakes I probably made is, just starting something and not finishing it. I noticed that, everything that I have tried to start, the things that I didn't finish, you see other people doing it. Like the YouTube channel, when I first started it, I had the big video. I had subscribers. I had people coming to the channel, and I kind of just like gave up on it. Mm-hmm. So I kind of felt like maybe if I would have kept going, I would have definitely been at a higher place right now, which everybody, a lot of people make those same mistakes,
So how do you handle those moments where you feel like you failed?
Oh, man, I think you just have to keep on praying, try to trust God and, don't give up. Just, keep striving, keep going hard.
Speaking of not giving up, it definitely sounds like you've built some mental fortitude behind mm-hmm. the scenes, but that doesn't mean that, everyone watching, might be in the same place in terms of their ability to withstand mm-hmm. or go through things. So what's some advice that you have when someone might be fighting through those more mental challenging aspects, like behind the scenes? I'm sure musicians, you guys probably discuss it, mm-hmm. maybe can you speak to that?
Yeah, I would say you just have to, trust yourself. And I'm a big believer in rest, like on Sundays. I know my people out there, about them big Sunday naps. To me, that Sunday nap, man, it helps me reset from my job, my daily job that I work. It helps me reset from, raising my sons. I got 2 kids in high school now, and every single day it get harder and harder to try to keep them on a straight path. And me personally, I like to take a nap. That helps me out. My wife might not like it sometimes on Sunday. Heavy stuff. But that actually helps me reset. And your reset might be, I don't know, going to the beach, putting on some music, getting on a bicycle on like Saturday or Sunday when you're done with everything that you did that week. Maybe going to an arcade, maybe going to a movie, maybe going in the backyard and reading a book. But whatever your reset is, you got to make sure you try to do that thing like every week.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gave us some things that I guess you could do within your personal life, but
Mm-hmm.
how important is worship when people might be going through those mental challenges or those low points?
Yeah,
Can
that's a
you
good
speak
question.
to worship within that, kind of lower stage of life?
Yeah, I definitely think this is a tips for worship podcast or show where we not only talk about tech, you know, instruments, cameras, lights, all that stuff. We do talk about worship too, and so worship is a big part of what's gonna get you through all those mental challenges. Not forgetting about God, and you definitely got to pray. You definitely got to spend time with God, because at the end of the day, He's gonna be the one that's gonna guide you through. When nobody else could, God will.
Okay. That sounds like some very good advice, but what would you say to maybe one of your listeners out there right now that feels
Hmm.
like they're burnt out from ministry? How would you guide them right now?
Yeah. If burnout, is definitely tough, and I know it's a lot of musicians, praise and worship leaders that's really probably burnt out right now, and that is it's definitely not healthy to be burnt out. So if you feeling like you burnt out or anything out there, you definitely want to try to take a reset. Take a vacation. If you're a praise and worship leader, if you at a church, so you probably been singing there 10 years, 15 years, and you burnt out. You might have some musicians you ain't getting along with it going on, to you having headaches and stuff like, but you have to reset. You have to get the guts to go talk to your pastor, go talk to the MD and say, listen, I need to take a break. Maybe if you bring in another praise and worship leader, that following week, you take a break, you reset. You know what I'm saying? Go take a vacation, go get your hotel, take the family with you, go hit the water, have you some lemonade, just to reset yourself. Because that burnout, just burning out, and you singing, every Sunday, but you burned out. You're not gonna be able to minister to the people the way God wants you to minister, because you need somebody to minister to you yourself.
Yeah,
You know,
that's really nice. I
most
know.
definitely.
Just as you were speaking now, I was also thinking of being burnt out with ministry, but then maybe not necessarily being burnt out with God.
Hmm.
So it just made me think of like really trying to go deep in with your Bible too. Like I
Yeah,
think that's a
that's no, but what you just said, being wait, say that again. You
being burnt out with
with
ministry,
ministry,
but
but not
not
with
with
God.
God.
Yeah, that's powerful right there. That's definitely powerful, because ministry can burn some folks out, because you just gotta realize that every Sunday, and some people just don't minister in church. I know one lady, her ministry is through giving food and giving blankets and water to the homeless. Like that's what God called her to do. But by her doing that, year after year after year, sometimes you get burnt out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And you might need to go back to that person that you're not burnt out with, and that's God, and ask him for a reset.
there you go.
That's powerful how you put that.
A reset and a refill.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Okay. So when all of this gets turned off, you
Mhm.
shut off the mics, you shut off the cameras, all the lights go off.
Mhm.
What is Minister AJ like outside of the music? What are you like at home? What are you like as a dad, brother, son, etc.?
I definitely think when the lights cut off, I think I could be, I try to be a big kid, with my kids. I got two sons. One of them taller than me now. He's about 6'5", 6'6", and he let me know it every night. Dad, I'm taller than you, this and that. So, I like to walk past his room and go jump in the bed with him. Because, being 16 years old, one thing those guys don't like is another man jumping in their bed. And I know that. So what I do, I jump in the bed. I go beat him up, have a little fun with him. And that actually makes me feel good, too, as well as make them feel good, too. So that's just some of the things that I try to do when the cameras turn off. I play with my wife the same way.
Lord have
She
mercy.
don't like it, but I these are things that I do to get enjoyment.
Okay.
Playing basketball, I definitely love to hoop. Getting these adult leagues. Hey, listen, I'm hooping now. Don't get it twisted now.
Oh no, your sons might beg to differ.
Yeah, yeah. I done passed the torch to them now. Especially my oldest son. He's on another level. He just called me right before the show started and said, "Hey, Dad, I had my best game of the season this year. I wish you would have been here. You got to go watch it on live." And I, I'm proud of him, because I've been waiting for him to have this breakout game in high school, and it finally came. And I wasn't at the game. Maybe it got something to do with me being at the games. I don't know.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Speaking of continuing with the theme of outside of, your musical life, what's a piece of advice or wisdom that someone has given you outside of the church that you have taken with you to be a better minister of music and minister in general?
Some advice that somebody outside the church?
Yes, or
have
that
gave
you've
me?
gotten outside of church. So whether it's on the basketball court, on your job, parenting within school, what's some advice that you've received? Or
I
some
think
wisdom?
I think some wisdom that an older gentleman gave me, he's not in the church, but he's in the music industry. He just told me, like, whatever you do, you have to put in that work. You have to put in the hours to get better at it. And it was so simple, but it's so powerful. Like, even like in the podcast community or whatever, you're not gonna get better at doing what we're doing right now if you don't put in the work behind the scenes. Messing with the cameras. Talking to people, calling companies, asking them, hey, what type of cameras can I use to make the quality of my podcast look better? What type of microphone can I use? Like, you listen to the quality that we're doing now, and the cameras. As we just switched the camera to Miss P over there, like how good her skin and everything looks on.
Well, that's just me, honey.
She being cocky now. She is beautiful, but the quality of the cameras, the way it look, this is calling and trying to figure out how you can do this. Another thing, this is a Tips for Worship podcast, and the same thing with ministry. You can't just go buy a camera and turn it on and think it's gonna look good. You have to do the research. You have to know what you're doing out here these days.
Okay.
Most definitely.
Sounds like networking and working hard would be the wisdom or advice that you got. Okay.
Yes, most definitely.
So before we get to our plans for season 2 of Tips for Worship,
Season 2.
you've got
She prophesying, because I ain't went that far yet, but we'll let the people decide.
hey, and I think they've decided thus far.
Yes, most definitely.
But before we get there, I've got some rapid fire questions for you.
Uh-oh.
You ready for
Man,
your
that's-
rapid fire round?
Rapid fire. That scared me right there.
So
That scared me right
we
there.
got some questions. They're right off the top of the head. I
Okay.
haven't shown these or told you these before.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to put Minister AJ a little under fire, but it's
Got you.
okay. It's in a good and loving way.
Okay.
So tell us, coffee or tea before Sunday service?
Love coffee. So before every service, I'm definitely going to get me some coffee. But listen to this. I cannot handle the caffeine no more like I used to. So listen, y'all. Don't laugh at me when I say this, but I'm going to let y'all know how I order my coffee now. I pull up to the window, and I do it just like this. Hey, can I get me a decaf iced coffee, black, nothing in it, decaf, y'all. So I'm rocking with the decaf coffee right now, because it's just the caffeine. When I drink it, I just get so hyped that I can't control myself. So now it's to the point where I'm dealing with the decaf coffee.
Okay.
And it's funny because I told my mom about it. Probably about a month ago, I called her and I was talking to her about the coffee, and she told me, she was like, yeah, when I was young, I noticed that I couldn't drink coffee like that, so I started to do the decaf. And she was telling me that her sister used to work at a coffee shop, And one day, her and my dad went down to the coffee shop. I think it was at the mall or something to get some coffee. And she was like, yeah, let me get a decaf coffee with this and that. And she said her sister thought she was playing that, she couldn't drink real coffee, it make her sick and like she get too hyper. So her sister done messing around and snuck that real coffee and gave it to her. So they say they left the mall, they driving. My mom said they get about 5 minutes down the street and she knew like from the way that she was feeling that her sister had messed around and gave her some real coffee, So, to answer your question, before church, I gotta have my coffee. If you want that good music, make sure you have some decaf coffee for me.
That's a tip for worship, people. Bring your ministers of music coffee.
Yeah. Hey, one thing about our church, where I play at my dad's church, shout out to ACOJ New Life. Elder Cherry, she's a minister. And by the way, she preached the past Sunday, man, she tore it up. Like, she's definitely going to another level. But she always makes sure we got ice water and a whole thing of peppermints. I mean, she be giving us so many peppermints. Even the saints in the church be coming up to the booth grabbing peppermints, So make sure your musicians got water, peppermints. Make sure they happy in that booth.
There you go. Okay, what's your go-to comfort food after a long day?
And before I move on, shout out to GRT too, because the ushers in there, they make sure that we got water in the corner too. Hey, let me throw that out there. All right, go ahead.
What's your go-to comfort food after a long day?
Oh man,
I know what it is. Do you know what it is?
You know what my comfort food is?
I know what your comfort food is after a long day.
Well, I ain't really messing with the chocolate chip cookies like that no more. But man, that's a tough question. Comfort food for me, I would have to say, even though I don't need it, I would probably have to say some salt and vinegar chips, like with like some type of dip or something. Maybe like some spicy hummus or something. I don't know why, but every time I sit down and watch the football game or a movie, them salt and vinegar chips with some hummus is what I'm doing.
And that is the correct answer. He is not lying, y'all. That is his go-to. I hear the crunching of the chips, the fridge open. That's that agent and got into another container of that hummus.
Yeah, most definitely. What about you? What's your favorite food to munch on? Or?
Actually, it would be something with a crunch. It would be a chip with a dip or a crunchy vegetable with a dip. So a pepper, celery, cucumber with a dip. We've talked about this several times. If I could start a restaurant, it would be a dip restaurant because I think they call that girl food or something.
For real?
Yeah, it's got a girl's dinner, something like that. It has a nickname, but basically when you like sides rather than entrees.
Yeah, well, somebody need to come up with that, or you better get to it for somebody to go ahead and snatch that, because I love dip too. I definitely love dip. And you could make the dips kind of like a full meal.
Yeah.
Like you got spinach dip, chicken
cottage
dip,
cheese,
barbecue dip, cottage cheese dip, melted cheese dip, queso dip. All type of dips. Now I'm starting to get hungry. I'm about to dip.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, let's get back to it.
If you could play one keyboard for the rest of your life, what would that keyboard be?
Oh man, one keyboard for the rest of my life, man, I would probably have to go with the classic Yamaha Motif. Even though I don't even have the Motif at the house right now, I'm playing the Roland Phantom EX, the one that just came out, and I almost gave it up. I was on Facebook Marketplace for about 3 weeks trying to find somebody to trade me a Montage for my Roland Phantom because I could not get that thing to work with Logic main stage because you have to download all type of drivers and everything. So I tell you, no lie, 2 nights ago, I just shout out. We had a episode on AI, ChatGPT, and I went on there and I don't know why. I was on Roland website. I talked to Ed from Roland. Shout out to Ed, man. Ed, the man, he big time dude over there. I talked to Ed. I went on Facebook and DM'd him, and we had a conversation, and he couldn't help me. So I'm like, man, what's going on with my Roland Phantom? And AI told me, man, just go on Logic, delete all this, delete all that, and it worked. So now I'm able to use Logic, use MainStage with my Rolling Phantom. I know you probably like, I don't know what he talking about
He
right now.
talking to y'all. He is
But
not talking
everybody
to me.
on the channel, y'all know what's up. So I got that thing to work, and I'm really loving the Rolling Phantom right now, just because I can use all my third-party softwares with it. But to answer your question, if I had to play one keyboard for the rest of my life, it'd definitely be the Yamaha Motif, because I've been playing it for most of my life already.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
this is a really serious question. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead with it.
All right. Can you name one praise or worship song that you think is perfectly produced?
Oh, man, perfectly produced. Man, that's a tough question right there, because by me being a producer, I should like know this stuff, but that's a tough question.
Okay.
I like that song. It's not it's a Christian song, but it's not like in the gospel area. But I would say that song, I Trust in God.
Mm-hmm.
The way I think they
The
actually,
elevation worship?
yeah, I think they actually like recorded that live, but the production on it is so simple, and it sounds really good. I think that's like a really good production song right there. Did that answer your question?
Sure. Answers
Yeah.
my question.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's definitely mixed pretty well. Whoever did that, they did a great job on that song.
Favorite key to play in and why?
Favorite key to play in. I'm apostolic. Blame it on my dad. That's where they raised me at. E flat, A flat. All right, they're my favorite keys. If you mess around and get me on the big stage with one of the biggest artists in the world, put me in E flat, and I'm going viral. All right, I'm going viral. E flat is my key that I can pretty much do anything. It don't matter what it is. Whatever you do, this guy or that girl, whoever playing keys, if you can't figure it out, if it's in E flat, I will figure it out. That's my key right there. A flat. I mean, I could play in all keys. C sharp, D, E flat, E, F sharp. All 8 of the keys, I believe it might be more than that. I'm sorry if I messed that up. But I can play in all keys, but I'm a monster in E flat, A flat, C sharp, all that stuff. All the black keys, I can do that.
So what's your why? Because that's how you were taught?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the key of C was the first key that I ever played in. So my cousin Steven, he's from he lives up in Georgia. That he came down one day. They was doing a revival at the church, and he brought his keyboard. So he taught me how to do a bass line in C, and I was just like doing that bass line. So then I just started playing in C. Like when I first started playing keys, I was always in C. No, you know what? We had an organ, so I couldn't transpose. So the praise and worship leaders were singing in A flat, and I was playing in C. Like some people, they used to tell my dad, like, we don't want to hear him play. When I tell you I was spamming C, that's how the young kids said now. They like, you spamming, man. When I tell you I was spamming C, I was spamming it. But God taught me on that organ how to play in every key. But E flat, that's my favorite key.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
If your keyboards could talk, what would they say about you?
Oh, man, if they could talk, they would probably say I'm hitting them too hard. I'm abusing them because sometimes I can't, play hard. That's why on my keyboard guys that know I love the 88 key hammer action because the keys are heavier. And then I love to play the organ too because the keys are so soft. The waterfall keys are really soft, and it's just a different vibe on them.
Okay.
Most definitely.
All right. So they say this guy's banging me around, throwing me all over the place.
Right.
You do look like, I don't know. You look like you take good care of your instruments, but at the same time, sometimes it feels like you're a little like rough with them. Is it because of the type of instrument, or you just like have so many, you're just used to it? Yeah,
I definitely have a lot of instruments, and I'm pretty in older age. When I was younger, like my dad bought me my first keyboard my dad ever bought me was a Yamaha Motif, the classic 7. It was the Yamaha Motif 7. And when I tell you I beat that keyboard, the keys was broke on it. Like, I know my dad had to be so mad with me over that keyboard because them like $2,000 keyboards, but that keyboard showed me how to like do what I do now. And I thank my dad for that too. But now my all my boards now in good shape.
Okay.
If it got scratches on them, it's because I bought them like that. Most definitely.
Okay. What's one food you wish was served after church service?
Oh, that's a good question right there. So I'm gonna look at the people now. Y'all know we always gonna have some fried chicken, some green beans. It depends on which. If it's a birthday service, it depends which service when the mac and cheese come out. But sometimes I think we need to switch it up, and we need a little bit more of them barbecue ribs sometimes. Sometimes switch it up, get that nice salmon in there, but that might be too expensive for some churches to, do.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
this is your wish. So
Yeah, my wish. Yeah, so my wish, I would probably say let's go with some salmon, some green beans, a little garlic sauce on the salmon, a little garlic bread. Now, after we done shouted, you know what I'm saying, we done sweated, we done laid all over the altar, to come with some salmon after that, we gonna be saved for the rest of our life. Oh, man, that's funny.
Okay, so I know you've played at a bunch of places.
Mm-hmm.
What's the strangest setup you've ever seen, or something that when you showed up you were like, why is that hooked up like that? Like, what's something that maybe made you chuckle, or you were like, what in the world is going on with this? Like, what's the strangest setup you've encountered?
Nah, the strangest setup I have encountered, believe it or not, was probably my setup. Like, every time somebody like came to our church and they saw my setup, they like, bro, like, it's only one dude that ever came to our church and was able to like actually play my setup whenever he wanted to it, and that's Von Keys. Y'all might know Von Keys. He came to our church one time. I had the Motif hooked up, had a bunch of MIDI controllers, and he went in there and he tweaked the organ. It was a stock main stage Logic whatever Hammond organ plug-in, and when I tell you he tweaked that thing so good, you know what I'm saying, I was actually like impressed by that. But most of the time, when like if I go to somebody else's church, I never seen somebody, maybe one time, but I never seen nobody have like a bunch of MIDI controllers and running 2 laptops of sounds and all type of crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I never seen that unless it was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're the strange one.
Yeah, I'm the strange. But now I done calmed down. It's just I just play the regular keyboards now. I bring the rolling, and I might run a couple plugins.
Okay. So you're more simplistic now.
Yeah,
All
most
right.
definitely.
But it doesn't alter the sound.
I think once you get older, you kind of get tired of like bringing so much stuff with you. So you get to the point where you just play what a church got, or you just play one board.
Okay.
Unless it's a concert or something, and we bringing all the toys out, then no.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anything, it sounds like the setup you were describing earlier is a bit more convoluted rather than simple. But again, if the event calls for it,
oh yeah,
then
most
it makes
definitely,
sense.
most definitely.
Okay, and if you could instantly master one instrument you've never played, what instrument would it be?
If I can instantly master an instrument that I never played before?
Yep.
Man, that's a tough question. I would probably say a saxophone.
Oh.
Because I love saxophone like so much. Like the saxophone patch on the Motif is one of my favorite patches, you know what I'm saying? So if I can never play an instrument, it'd probably be that one.
Okay.
Most definitely.
Well, Minister AJ, you've made it through our rapid fire of questions. Was that hard?
I never want to be on this side again. Is this how y'all be feeling when y'all over here? I kind of just wanted to test it out a little bit and see, you know what I'm saying? But it was fun. It was definitely fun. It was definitely fun.
Okay. Well, let's kind of leave the audience with a little bit going into season 2 or whatever may come next, what do you see for this podcast?
Oh, that's a tough question. Season 2, I haven't really thought it out yet. Just like with season 1, the tips for worship, I just went with the flow. And man, when I tell you God just blessed me, it was right. Like Darius Washington, he came to the studio right in the middle when he was dropping his album, and his album is doing like great right now. And I want to thank you for that. But season 2, I whatever God put on my heart, that's what I'm gonna do. So I really don't have an answer for that right now.
Okay.
It's what I've been doing on YouTube. I've been having like everybody who's hit me up in the comments and stuff. That's pretty much what I'm doing now. So if you don't see us live on Thursday night, it's because we took another route to help the people that's on YouTube and subscribe to our channel.
Okay, so it
Most
sounds
definitely.
like you saying man plans and God laughs. So
Yep,
you just
yep.
gonna leave it.
But
at
I
that.
could say, like tips for worship, this season definitely helped a lot of people. I had people come up to me at church services that I was playing at, ministering to, and they were saying, "Yo, bro, you remember that speaker you was talking about, that QSC? Man, right after the show, I went and got one. Man, that thing sounds so good, man. I just want to thank you for that." And just to hear that, it motivated me,
Yeah.
Then I had people calling my phone saying, "Hey, man, my dad just called me up and it was asking me what's the S32, stuff like that." Well, S32 is a mixing board by Behringer that most of the churches you walk into today, they have one. So I would say that the S32, the Behringer S32, for any like smaller ministry out there, if you listening, get you an S32. So if you get a sound engineer to come to your church, he would if he's a sound engineer, he would know how to work the X32. So you can go hire if you don't have an audio engineer in your church and you looking to hire somebody, you can hire somebody and they would come to your church and they would know how to use the X32. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that's the standard. Just like you go to most I say black churches, they got a Hammond organ. So the X32 is pretty much like the Hammond organ in every church. Every church pretty much got one. And if it's not that, it's the Behringer, and then once you get to the high level ministries, like with bigger budgets, then, they move on up to different stuff after that.
Look at you. You never stop giving out tips, huh?
Was that a tip?
It was definitely a tip.
It's a
tip for worship.
Most definitely.
Okay, so with all of that in mind, let's leave your audience with an enduring tip for worship. So what would be your biggest tip thus far for worship?
Yeah, my biggest tip for worship, I would probably say, just, I know this might sound like you hear it every day, but I would just say just trust God. It's simple. And when I say trust God, I don't mean just go in your room and sit on the bed and wait for him to walk in and come pull you out. I mean, like, go do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go start a business, if you want to start a studio, if you want to start a podcast like this, if you want to, I don't know, be a music producer, you want to be a preacher, whatever you want to do, take that first step and trust God in the process. And if you believe in him, he's gonna know it. He'll pull you through. So, just want to get back in school. You might be like, "Oh, I'm too old. I've been out of school for 10 years. Ain't no way I can do it." Just don't even worry about that. Just jump in, and let God take it from there. Cause all you gotta do is try. Once he see, I was ministering the word one time, and I said something like, "If God see you take one step, he'll push you for another step. Then you take another one, and he'll keep pushing you. So that'll be my tips for worship. Just trust God in everything that you do.
Okay.
What about you? Do you got any tips for worship before we get out of here?
My tip for worship, I think it would probably be the same. Something like have faith, trust God, and just know that he's all-knowing. So whatever you think you're going to plan to do next, he already knew that you were going to do that. So, he'll
sense.
make a path. And, but
Is that something like what you was talking about with Job? Like when you was reading that passage? What we talked about was Job,
No.
like he didn't.
what we were talking about was, and this is my understanding of it, so please take
Yeah,
all
yeah.
mistakes as love.
We just we
Um,
just talking right now, y'all.
but what in that whole, I don't know if you call it I don't know what you call a section of Job, but
You,
in the book of
yeah,
Job.
the book of Job. What was it like? Chapter
No.
39. We was reading.
Yeah, when God, yes,
Yeah.
38 through 39. It was when God spoke to Job and he said, I
So
know.
if it was 38, 39, it's probably the verse we talking about, right?
No, this was chapter
oh,
38 through 39.
Okay, so chapter 38 through 39.
I don't know the verses off the top of my head, but that's when God spoke to Job and he said, like, I know everything. I know about every grasshopper, every eagle. I know that what I set up the predator and prey relationship. Like, I'm the all-knowing. And he was, because we were talking about it on the car ride over here, but this was when, like, Job had went through all of the trials and everything he'd been cursed with, etc. Like, so he was just in a lot of peril. And he was, like, questioning God, but still wouldn't curse God. And then God came and he finally spoke to him and he just said, like, I'm all-knowing. I'm the creator of everything.
Right.
And just put his presence on top of his, on Job's understanding. So I say that's to say all this, like.
So what was your understanding through all that when you read that?
My understanding of that, I mean, when we were, like, I understood it just as that. I was like, okay, God just basically, he's saying all of these, said, like, were you the one that created the oceans and allowed them to stop? Were you the one, like, basically he was saying, I'm the one that did all of these things. And it went on for the entire 2 chapters where God was speaking about just everything that he is.
Yeah, so God, he can basically just pull you through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No matter what. Like, if you, like I said before, if you want to start that business, you're sick and tired of working for the little money, but you can't get stuck in that place, because a lot of people, they get a job and they say, as soon as they get the job, I'm gonna work this for 20 years and I'm gonna retire. But how is that trusting God? Because you got a job and you working it 20 years. That ain't trusting God. You gonna take this job and you gonna work it, but you need to try to find something else. You need to try to start a business. You need to try to, because some people, they got so much talent, but your talent getting sucked up because you so tired from that 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean?
See, I disagree because I think talent can only be accelerated with hard work, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the determination, if you don't have the willpower, your talent can dwindle. So someone that is more determined and less talented than you can succeed over you. And whatever success looks like for that person, because maybe they're happy with 20 years on a specific job. Like, who are we to say that that's wrong to not desire more?
No, it's not. Well, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I'm saying it. I think I'm saying that it's more. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to just stay in one place. Like, I'm gonna stay in this lane and I'm gonna ride it all the way through. No, switch lanes, get off, see what's in that city, see what you can explore. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you're saying is don't be complacent. It sounds like what you're saying.
Right. I could be talking about me too. When I'm saying that, because right now, I'm working a job and most of the guys, I hope they be watching my podcast too, but I'm gonna say it anyways. But most of the guys I see that they're, 65, 67 years old, and they've been working this job their whole life. And if you ask them, hey, what else you do, man? It's either that job or it's either side work, but then by me knowing other people out here that's, they're millionaires, and most of these people, they family like inherit this money and all that stuff. But, when are some of the people who don't have nothing going to take that turn, because having a simple job is never going to get you there, but it
can if you invest, right? It can.
Now,
if you're
invest,
willing to, make the sacrifice. But so you got a person that's been on, let's call it a simple job for 20 years. What about an athlete that's been playing since they were 10 and at 30 they retire?
Yeah.
What about them? Have they not been, they never sought anything outside of that? Where's their identity outside of that? So you can apply it to different levels of life and still have the
Yeah.
same problem.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess what we saying is don't get stuck. Don't get stuck.
I don't
All
know
right?
what we said.
Don't
We
get
just
stuck
started
in the
talking.
mud in the truck. Yeah. So listen, this
Wait.
is some of the conversations that we have
Wait.
all the time.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
Have you ever heard the saying, don't yuck on somebody's yum?
No, I never heard that before. Wait, what do that mean? Don't yuck on somebody. What do that mean?
Don't yuck. Okay, I don't know how. I think when you said don't get stuck in the mud, like it's like a little saying, but I think it might be maybe like Midwestern. I never heard it until I went to New Orleans last year for the convention, and there was a lady from, oh my God, Missouri, or so, I don't know where she was from, but she said it. And I was just like, what did you just say? And she said, don't yuck on somebody's yum, meaning like, don't, something that someone likes, don't be like, ew, why do you like that? So basically,
right.
like, don't treat people,
Yeah.
don't tell them the thing that they like is bad. But it's
Yeah.
just, when you said don't get stuck, what did you say? The
No, I was
mud?
playing. I said, don't get stuck in the mud in the truck. I don't know
Oh.
where that came from. I was just playing around. You know?
Okay, it just made me think of that. Don't yuck on anyone's yums. That's your
Yeah.
tip for worship.
Okay. Well, I think we could. That was a nice little segment to take it out on right there.
Sure.
Right. But listen, I always do this on the Tips for Worship podcast at the end, man. Listen, if this podcast touched you tonight, go on the YouTube channel Tips for Worship and hit that subscribe button. Come rock with your boy in season 2. Right now, I'm doing a series that we're just posting it right on YouTube about the Beer Wing. So if your ministry is going, after that, Beer Wing, I have some videos on my channel that can help you maneuver through it and learn how to use the software on it. So, hey, Patricia Fativa, say what's up to the people and tell them thank you.
Wait, you want me to tell them? Thank you for.
tell 'em.
Okay.
And give them a nice tips for worship. The camera's on you.
I don't have any tip for worship.
Give them something nice. You got something you can help the people with.
A tip for worship is stand up and praise God in church. That's my tip for worship.
Man.
But all in all jokes aside, we, the audience, myself included, want to thank Minister AJ for letting us grill him, get to know him a little bit better, and hopefully, you saw some personal sides and maybe you felt more in love with what he's bringing to the table, what he's pushing forward, and how he's trying to really encourage excellence within ministry.
Hey, I want to thank y'all for joining the show. We out. Peace. We'll be out in a minute. I'm trying to get